Hey Angela, I'm Candace. How are you? It's nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Glad you're here today. Go ahead and have a seat.
Okay.
Did you have a long trip in?
No, it was fine. It
Not too
was
bad.
not too crazy.
That's good. That's good. You didn't have to wait or anything in the waiting room or anything, did you?
No.
Good.
It was good.
Good. I'm glad. All right. So, like I said, my name is Candace, and I'm glad that you're here today. Tell me a little bit about what brought you here today.
Well, I mean, I just came in because I just need some help, probably just getting a few things straightened out. I have a lot of stuff on my plate, and it seems like I'm having a little bit of time management situation that I need help with, I think, so.
Okay, so I hear you saying you're having a little bit of trouble with like time management. Tell me a little bit about what that looks like for you.
Well, I mean, I have, just some things going on, and I am feeling, I don't know if it's really frustrated or, I don't know, I just get a sense that I'm not able to get a real handle on just organizing it all, I suppose.
Okay, so I hear you saying that you're frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit, but not really in the sense of frustration. It's just I feel kind of discombobulated, I suppose is what the word is.
Okay, so tell me a few things like that you can think of just right now that might be contributing to that frustration.
I don't know, because I don't really have any real frustrations with anything in particular. Like, each thing in my life right now is going well. My work is good. I work a lot of hours, but I mean, work is good. I have 2 kids. But really, I mean, that's really pretty much it.
Okay, so tell me a little about, so you've already talked about your job and you've
Mhm.
talked about your kids. You have one child?
No, I have 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about them.
I have a son that is 15,
Okay.
and then I have a daughter that is 18. My son is what is he? He's a sophomore?
Okay.
Freshman. He's a freshman this year. My daughter's a senior. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I see you smiling, so everything seems to be going okay with the kids. I don't see any frustration on your face when you're talking about your kids or anxiety or anything. You're smiling, so everything seems to be going okay with them.
Yeah,
All right.
the kids are doing good. Yeah.
Okay, good. And your daughter, you said you had a daughter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she seems content and doing good. She's thriving in her senior year. So.
Okay. Tell me more about your job.
I am a property manager, and I am doing a new construction building right now, and I just pretty much am in charge of everything there at the property and making sure all the construction and the leasing and the marketing and everything is done. So that's really, all I pretty much do there. So.
Okay. And how long have you been at that job?
I've been at that one for probably about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's fairly new.
With this company. I've
Okay.
been a property manager for several years, but I just recently switched companies, so.
Okay. So it only being at the job for 6 months, tell me what happened in that situation that led you to being there. Like, obviously you had a job before and this is a new job. Tell me how you got there.
I mean, really honestly, it all began with just my previous job. I was commuting a lot, and I just didn't want to do it anymore because it was giving me a lot of road rage and a little bit more anxiety than what I wanted, and so I switched because this was right down the street.
Okay. And since you've been there, has some of those anxieties and like you're feeling a little tense. I saw you kind of, ball up your fist a little bit, like that feeling of tense. Has that been alleviated with this new job?
Yes and no. Like, I don't have to drive every day, so that's nice. I'm just right down the street, but yes and no.
Okay. All right. So maybe there's some things with this new job that you thought that would alleviate some of that anxiety, but maybe some new things, or is there still some things going on with that job that didn't really take care of that frustration?
No, I think it all just kind of evened out.
Okay. So you were saying earlier, one of the things you mentioned was being a single mom. How's that going for you?
It's good. Yeah,
Okay.
it's really well. It's really good.
Okay.
Get everything done that needs to be done. They're older now, so it's not like when they were younger where they needed a lot of like attention. They do a lot of their own thing now with their, school and friends and
Okay.
whatnot. But
And being a single mom, I have not had to do that before, but I've talked to many people being a single mom, not having, that other side to kind of help with the things going on. How is that going, just, doing that by yourself?
I don't feel any strain from it. I mean, it just seems like what I do, so I don't feel that there's any particular strain to it at all.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you can think of? Like you said, you kind of came in and you were talking about being discombobulated is the word that you use. Is there anything else that you can think of that?
Yeah, it's just that I'm just not really able to pinpoint it. I just feel like there's something, and I'm not sure if it's medical,
Okay.
or if it's something that I'm just not seeing, and that's what I kind of was looking for, is to kind of just talk through, I guess, things to see if I can just kind of find and pinpoint exactly what it is that's really bothering me, because I feel bothered because I just feel like it just seems like I should be able to handle a lot of stuff, and it seems like I'm not, but at the same time I am. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Like it just is like
Yeah, it does make sense.
I'm having a tough time really figuring out what's bothering me.
Okay.
I mean, it really is. What it boils down to is that I'm really having a tough time figuring out why I'm feeling like I'm failing, like I'm not excelling as much in all of these categories that I'm, a part of,
Mhm.
whereas before it seems like I could. That's why I feel like maybe there's something medical,
Okay.
because typically I would be able to handle this stuff without any kind of that bothersome irk to it.
Okay. Okay. And interestingly, like you're saying, you're pinpointing. So I heard you say a minute ago that you were having trouble, but you did mention medical, which is very specific. Can you tell me a little bit like what your concerns are, or are there concerns as far as like your medical health?
I mean, not really. There's really nothing going on. I feel healthy. I feel pretty balanced in that, but that's why I didn't know if maybe it was something medical.
Okay, so you're saying, so I hear you saying, I don't know if it's something medical. What is your thought behind that, thinking that it could be something medical that's causing some of this stress and anxiety for you? Like, if it were something medical, do you have any idea what you think that it could be?
Not really. I mean, being a woman, these hormones, they
Okay.
always are a little tricky, but
Okay.
I'm not really sure if that's what it is, because I mean, I've had hormones and things going on my entire life, so I don't see why I would be having troubles now. Only other thing I can think of is maybe just maybe something going on that might be heart related, because sometimes I feel not really palpitations per se, but I feel kind of like I have a little bit of tingling inside or something. I don't know. So that's what's kind of triggered my thought. Now I'm like, oh, maybe this is something medical that is going on, because I
Okay.
kind of have this like tingling
Yeah.
sensation.
Okay, so I wonder if you're in some way maybe associating these feelings of anxiety. I heard you say earlier anxiety and frustration, and then what you're also feeling in your body medically, maybe connecting the two of those and would you say that maybe you might be struggling with anxiety
You know,
in your body?
I haven't really thought about anxiety because I don't feel anxious. Like
Okay.
I don't feel. I feel like people that have anxiety are just like, "Ah," you know,
Okay.
and crying and going on and on about life. But I don't do any of that, so I can't really feel that I can attribute it to anxiety because I don't know if it is actually
Yeah.
anxiety.
Okay. And have you at any point either considered or have you seen a doctor about this?
No.
Okay. Is that something that you had considered?
I mean, yeah, this was, I wanted to kind of ask and I kind of do both of these in tandem, just do a little bit of help with getting organized and going and visiting the doctor sometime soon too, so.
Okay. And so in saying that, so you said earlier, like you just don't know why, like you're not being able to handle it. And so you're kind of, what I'm sensing from you is that you're trying to find an answer to why can I not handle this? And that kind of seems like maybe you had been able to handle it before, and then now you're having this feeling that I can't handle it now. Obviously, coming in to talk to me today and possibly being ready to make an appointment with the doctor. Do you have any ideas of other than medical, why you might be feeling like you can't handle it?
No, I mean, I just feel like I can't explain it. That just seems like there's something going on inside to where I just feel like things are just, and that I just can't get straight. Like I can't think straight. My brain feels foggy, and no matter how much I try to get things all, laid out and meticulous, it's just not working for me. It's just like it's not straightening up. It's just I'm getting with every little thing. It's just like ugh.
Okay.
Okay.
So I mean, obviously,
Sorry.
no, you're perfectly fine. Like I mean, obviously you're here and you're talking to me, and I'm glad that you're here, so you can talk some of these things out because there's obviously some internal things like you're feeling very aggravated. Am I on the right point? Like feeling aggravated and just frustrated and anxiety, even inside. And so you're having a hard time maybe getting what's inside and just being able to work through all of the things that you're feeling.
Yeah, because I don't feel like I have control over everything.
Okay. And how does
if that's even a feeling?
Yeah.
I just don't have control over everything.
Yeah, and so not having control, I mean, makes you feel anxious.
Is that what it is? I don't know. If anxiousness is what really, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, anxiousness is definitely something that we could definitely explore a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
We can look in that. Because I've heard you say, several times using the word anxious, so we can definitely explore whether anxiety is part of what's going on with you. I definitely could see your point of wanting to look into medical to see, is this hormonal? Is this something that is not necessarily emotional, but it could be driven by your hormones? So I would definitely see benefit in maybe looking into that also.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned a couple of things, but nothing really has stood out so far to me that's just overwhelmingly putting pressure. Is there anything that you can think of, even that hasn't happened recently, maybe in the past, or even recently, that has just caused a lot of issues or stress? Have you had any life events? Has there been any kind of deaths in your family? Has there been any losses of family members, divorces, any kind of social traumas, physical trauma?
No, nothing that I can pinpoint. I mean, I moved earlier this year, but that's pretty much it.
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
And then I changed my job, so of course those are, two turning points, I guess, per se. But I moved,
And having a little bit of
moved recently too, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe even having a little bit of scare about what might be going on with your body, that there could be possibly something going on medically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't ever really get worried about my health, really.
Okay.
It doesn't really bother me. I figured what comes, I'll deal with when it comes.
Okay. All right. So far, we've talked about a job change within the last 6 months. You've also mentioned, like you said, not too worried about it, but it is something that you have put thought to and considered with your hormones and your medical. And then you've also moved in this year. Okay. I wonder if having all of these things, do you think that there might be a chance that you could be compartmentalizing these things into their own groups and not necessarily taking all of them in together as having some pretty intense changes in your life happen in a very short period of time?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know, sometimes I feel, I'm sitting here thinking that how silly I feel just to even be coming to counseling, because just doesn't seem like I should have to come to counseling to figure things out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel that way. You're not alone in that. Like, a lot of people feel like they can handle life and they can do all the things and handle anything that comes at them. And then, sometimes we find ourselves overwhelmed, just overwhelmed because, things have happened so quickly. We've had many things happen to us all at one time. And then all of a sudden it kind of sneaks up on us and we, like you said earlier, you mentioned, I just don't know why I can't handle this. How does that feel to you when I say that, like that, that you're not alone and that, that people like you also get overwhelmed?
Because I don't feel like I'm overwhelmed. I just feel like need help getting things figured out, like not overwhelmed per se.
Okay, so I have a question for you is, if somebody else was in your position, because you seem to be the type of person that can really handle yourself and be able to put things together. I mean, like you've mentioned, like I've always been able to do that. If you were to look at somebody in your situation, how do you think that you might tell that person how they might be able to get through what you're going through right now?
Me? I would say, suck it up, Buttercup. Get busy. Get it figured out.
Okay. And that really, and I asked that question because that seems to be something that you're asking yourself.
Yeah.
You're kind of saying the same thing to yourself, like, let's go, suck it up, Buttercup.
Suck it up, yeah. I should be. That's what I'm saying right now. I cannot seem to, that's why I say it's kind of silly for me to even be here, because I should be just being able to, I just think I feel like I have so much that I can't even take the time to get to that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I can't get to that point to even kind of get things lined out. My head is mush. It feels like inside. Like I feel like my brain is literally mushy.
Okay.
I've sometimes thought if I have some kind of brain fog issue or something going on, because it just is it's not anything to do with feelings or anything. It's just that I just can't think straight.
Okay. Let's do this real quick. So when thinking about you, so let's do a little experiment here. So we have talked about how we have changed a job. So we've got this in here and this is closed, and so we change our job and we get a little, we can see like it's it's fizzing up. So we have concerns about our health a little bit, maybe our hormones and not knowing what's going on with that. Okay. Okay, and so again, you know, we're it's building up, the pressure is building up in our life, and nothing's, you know, not done about it yet. And so we also have, you know, we've moved in the last year, which can be a very stressful for people to move and take your whole life and move it into a different place, especially as a single mother that's doing it, you know, by herself, and hopefully you've had some support, but it's still difficult. And so that's another thing in our life that gets shaken up. And so the pressure just keeps building up. And what I feel like you're saying in a way is that there's nothing that you have found yet that has been able to help you to be able to let off some of that pressure, and to be able to let off, like, and just let some of the pressure off. And you hear that release, that all the things that have been building up and all the things that have been going on in your life, and they just keep piling up and building up and building up, and you haven't quite yet been able to find that thing, like you said, I just can't put my finger on it, is that thing that can help you release some of the stress, some of the pressures that you're feeling.
Yeah.
So would that be an accurate portrayal of kind of how you, like you described earlier, how you're feeling on the inside? It's just this build up pressure.
Yeah, possibly so. Because if I were to just open that, I would probably spew everywhere, but.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, if that was full enough, if that bottle kept continuing to build and to build, and it was full to the top and you shook it up, it's gonna spew everywhere, like you just said. It's gonna go everywhere, out of control.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier,
Well,
you know.
And like you said, I don't know what it is that I can do to release that out. I don't, because I don't feel like that is the, you know, it's that pressure that, and maybe just that empty brain feeling is something to do with not dealing with the feelings of it.
Okay.
You know, maybe I have internalized things a little bit,
Okay.
but I don't know how to, like, deal with those things. Like, usually I would, you know, put this all straight in my mind.
Okay. So you just mentioned something. You said, I would usually just put this all straight in my mind. Can you tell me, compared to what you said, I usually do that versus today, can you think of anything that you would usually do that maybe you're not doing now?
Like, what do you mean?
So maybe techniques or things, support systems that you had in place, or techniques or ways of thinking, just trying to kind of get down to, so you said, I usually can get it together and collect it all and make sense of it. And now I feel like I'm not being able to do that. Can you think of anything that has changed, maybe the approach to the changes you've had in the last year? Or I wonder, is there a possibility that it's just been so many things, like you normally can handle one thing that comes at you, two things that come at you, but maybe you've had four things come at you this year, and I wonder if maybe you just reached your limit of being able to handle the amount of things that have happened. Not that you're not capable of handling things, but maybe it's just the amount.
Yeah, but I just don't, I mean, I feel like I'm always constantly dealing with several things at a time. And so I couldn't answer that question if there was anything different or anything displaced for me to be able to not handle those things,
Okay.
or get them figured out.
Okay.
Because
Well,
typically, as a single
yeah.
mom, like, I usually have, I mean, a lot of stuff going on. Like, I don't have someone to fix the car when it breaks, and I don't have someone to, you know, mow the yard when it gets high. I don't have someone to, hey, can you go get the kids today because they've got this and I'm working late. It's just all on me, and I just usually get it taken care of. I usually make those decisions and get it worked out. So I feel like there's always a lot of weight on me, a lot of stuff, but
Okay.
I mean,
Well, and like I said, I think you've made a great first step in reaching out for help. and that's not always easy for people that feel confident in being able to have everything together. And I know that probably wasn't an easy decision for you today.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you took that first step. I think that we can definitely make some headway and try to help you figure out why you're feeling this way. I think we've discussed some things today that we can look further into in our next session and just start delving into some of the things that we talked about today. As far as what we can do today, I think that it may be a good idea if you consider possibly making an appointment, with your doctor, and let's just rule out and take that one thing off of your plate of feeling concerned and worried, or even having anxiety, any of those things about it being hormonal.
Yeah.
That way that we can either address that with your physician, or maybe just take it off of the plate altogether, and then we can explore some other things.
Yeah, I left a message with my doctor, so hopefully I'll hear back from her to make an appointment. So.
Oh, that'd be good. And hopefully we can hear about something, by the time you come back next time. And then what I'd like for you to do is a little bit of homework for me. Okay. So from now until the next time we meet, I want you to go through and I want you to write down in the last year, and just really take time to really be thoughtful about what things that have happened in this last year, the changes that have happened, whether that's physical, mental, financial, job changes, some of the things you've already mentioned, but anything that you couldn't think of even today. And I want you to make a list for me of the things that are the highest priority to you that seemed to cause the most stress or anxiety, down to the things that have not really caused as much anxiety, but still they're there. And
so like taking an inventory of my life, basically, kind of, in a way.
Yeah, sometimes in a setting like this, it's a little difficult to think right on the spot of the things. So being able to go home, sit by yourself, get quiet, but by yourself, and just take time to reflect. Yeah. Look at the compartments of your life: social, mental, emotional, physical, all of the areas of your life. And I just really want you to make me a list of things from the highest priority that's causing the most anxiety to the least, and that'll give us a point of reference to start next time, so we can start exploring some of those areas and see if we can kind of help you get down to what's really going on here, and give you some tools.
Yeah, and I think that's part of my problem, because I've kind of a little bit made a list, but I can't pinpoint where things are at on that scale. Okay. And so I think that's kind of part of the issue is not being able to prioritize. Yeah. Because like I was saying, I don't attribute it to anxiety. So I'll try to look at that from a anxious perspective, see if because I've made the list trying to prioritize them, but they all seem to have the same thing, the same importance. So that's where I've been struggling with juggling and that discombobulated brain fog, because it's kind of all there. So, but I never did put anxiety to that. So there may be some of that. So I can look at that from a logical perspective, I think, and try to come up with that list.
Okay. Well, I will tell you this: you're capable, like you've said in the past, like you've been able to do this, and I honestly feel with just a little bit of work that we can get this back on track for you and get you back to the place where you feel like you're back in control of what's going on in your life, and be able to help you kind of clear out some of this brain fog and just get you back to where you're feeling more like yourself, more in control, and more stable with everything that's going on. Does that sound like a plan?
Okay, yeah. Okay. That would be great. That's what I want.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, and it's been great, and I'm looking forward to meeting with you again next time, and we'll do that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming in.